Hey guys, JamesMCD's Reviews here. Welcome to another episode of the Cinematic Bucket List series. And today, just in time for its 20th anniversary, we're going to be talking about Love Actually, released in 2003, directed by Richard Curtis. This movie boasts an all-star cast. It's got Alan Rickman, Colin Firth, Emma Thompson, Hugh Grant, Laura Linney, Liam Neeson, Keira Knightley, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Martin Freeman, all these famous people, and it centers around a group of unrelated people and their pursuits of love in the lead up to Christmas. I remember my mom showing me this movie when I was like much younger, probably like 15, 16 maybe, and I remember thinking it was funny. Like, I definitely remember a lot of the like funny parts of like, oh haha, they're standing in for porn actresses or actors, or the guy who wants to go to America to get laid, or the funny like washed up pop star doing like a sellout cover of another song but just replace all the words with Christmas and shit like that. Like, that stuff I remember being funny, but at the same time I don't think I was really old enough to like properly appreciate it and kind of like what it was. It's very easy to like look at this type of movie and be like, oh, it's just a really cheesy, like Hallmark style, like rom-com and everything like that. This is the movie that kicked off the trend of like having an all-star cast of like anthology-ish like stories that like show people like falling in love and everything like that around a holiday. And like, yeah, if I were to look at this like purely critically, like, I would agree with you. Like, it does have its very schmaltzy moments, and like a lot of the story arcs and character arcs and everything like that, a lot of them do get kind of like pushed to the sidelines, or some get more screen time than others, some get kind of just forgotten about halfway through. But I think this is also sort of the schmaltzy, like overly positive, like bit of cheese that the world kind of needed. A big part of like one thing that the movie shows both in its opening sort of like narration and its ending is like people meeting up at each other at the airport, and like, you know, the like scenes of like family and friends like reuniting and everything like that. And you could look at it today and being like, oh god, that's so cheesy and manipulative, and it is, it absolutely is. But remember, this was released 2 years after 9/11, and you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell, especially with that scene with the little kid being chased by security at the airport. But I mean, even beyond that, even beyond like the symbolism, like, you know, we were all kind of, I mean, I can only speak from like, you know, I was, you know, couldn't even walk when 9/11 happened, but just from, you know, secondhand like experience, I can only imagine what sort of the aftermath of that was like for people. People were sort of like, their whole perception of, you know, the world was just completely thrown off balance, and like people didn't know what to think or feel or believe, and everyone was just really scared and confused. And we just, I feel like at that moment in time, we just kind of needed a little bit of love and just a little bit of schmaltzy, like warm, you know, fuzzies and everything like that. And to that extent, I can kind of appreciate this movie like as a product of its time. And like, even still, it isn't like, you know, obviously it's a rom-com and it's very over the top with a lot of stuff, but it's, you know, a lot of the storylines are very like kind of like honest and a little like sad. Like, you've got Liam Neeson, who is coping with the death of his wife by helping his stepson win over the heart of this girl that he has a crush on, which is both really sweet but also really sad. You've got like Alan Rickman's character, who is like caught in like a stale spot in his marriage and, you know, has the hots for this other girl, but like he doesn't want to act on it because, you know, he loves his wife too much. You've got Hugh Grant's character, who's like this up-and-coming politician who gets like the hots for like one of the members of his cabinet, and then he kind of has to push those feelings to the side in order to like run the country and everything like that. It's very, like I said, it's very over the top, but it is also very honest and in some cases like kind of tragic, but like that's just the nature of love, and especially around Christmas time, that's just how things are for some people. But don't get me wrong, when it needs to be a comedy, it does a fairly decent job at that. Like, I do like when they kept cutting back to this, you know, like washed up pop star and all of his appearances on TV and how he's basically just trying to sabotage himself because he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. But it ends up working against him and bringing that, like, obviously sellout song that he puts out into the Christmas #1 charts. Like, that stuff is funny. I do like sort of the connection that Liam Neeson has with his son and how, like, he's basically teaching him, like, all of the overused cliches that work in these kinds of romantic movies in order to win over this girl that he likes. I thought that that stuff was really sweet. Obviously, you get sort of these plot lines that are very, like, quick inserts that barely get any screen time. Like, Martin Freeman and Joanna Page with their, you know, porn shoot, essentially. Like, it's just these little, like, quick cut, like, inserts, like, you're there and then you're out. Same thing with the guy who is, like, moving to America or going to America to get laid because he thinks that no one in Britain wants to, you know, sleep with him or whatever. Like, that stuff has some funny moments. Like I said, from a purely, like, critical and, like, storytelling perspective, the way that the story is paced out, like, some plot lines drag on a bit too long, whereas others don't get enough focus, and, like, you know, you don't always care about, like, what's going on, and there's even some that get, like, a little weird, like, the guy who, the Keira Knightley is married to Chiwetel Ejiofor, and the guy who is the photographer at their wedding is, like, pining after her, but he is afraid to tell her, and stuff like that can get kind of weird. But like I said, it's one of those, like, sort of schmaltzy, like, Hallmarky rom-coms that, like, you kind of just, like, turn your brain off and you are watching because you want to, like, little dumb feel-good time, and that's honestly kind of what I got. And I'm not gonna lie, the ending with everyone meeting up at the airport and the shots at the end and stuff like that, like, I don't know what it was about that scene that got me, like, so choked up, but I don't know, like, I just don't know. It was weird. But regardless, I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend it's flawless, but it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed revisiting it after all this time. Going to my ranking, I'm kind of sat between a 3.5 and a 4. Like, I acknowledge that it's probably a 3.5, but just because of the stuff that I liked and because it made me feel good when I was watching it, I have it as a 4 for right now, but that's subject to change upon multiple viewings. But anyway, that does it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Love Actually if you've seen it. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you agree that it's, like, kind of schmaltzy, or do you not really care about all that stuff? Let me know all that stuff down below. I've got more videos coming real soon, but until then, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on when I'm posting. Follow me on all my social medias. Subscribe to my main channel. Everything you need to know will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.